Hey guys, thanks for stopping by to watch another video here at All I See Is W, where we talk about stocks, Bitcoin, and finance. In today's video, I'd like to dive deep into the price of Bitcoin, MicroStrategy, and the big three miners. Most of you are wondering, as we head into the new week, is Bitcoin going to continue dropping? Is now a good time to buy, including prices with MicroStrategy and the big three miners? I'll share with you my technical and fundamental analysis, including the latest updates with the Bitcoin MicroStrategy and the big three miners updates. Now, if you're new to this channel, I would really appreciate you first off hitting the like and subscribing for more related content. Let's begin, guys. First, I wanted to talk about overall price of Bitcoin. What we're seeing here is some pullback. Most of you are wondering, how low is Bitcoin going to go? What is causing the price of Bitcoin to go? I'm thinking that we're just seeing a healthy pullback. Good news is we've been hovering over this price range of 100,000 on multiple occurrences already, especially with Trump now in the White House. I think this is a healthy pullback, and what we're seeing just based on the recent news here, just with tariffs, that caused market uncertainty. I think that this will be very short-lived here in that Trump, he announced news that he will be adding tariffs to China, Canada and Mexico at certain percentages, and this has really caused a disruption in the Bitcoin price, along with what we saw with the DeepSeek news that happened last week on Monday. However, I think all of this is very short-lived. I think that in the long run, adding tariffs with this global trade war will only allow for the US to become the powerhouse of Bitcoin and AI sector. So I believe that we're going to see healthy pullbacks, consolidation, and start seeing it gap up. I do think that Bitcoin price, this is very short-lived. People are getting afraid here, but it's all just FUD. I do think that Bitcoin price, as we head into February, March, we're going to see that 130, 150 range. 2025, I do see Bitcoin breaking through that $200,000 range here. So why is Bitcoin down? Of course, with the updates with the latest tariffs that has caused some market uncertainty where people are beginning to take profits or sell. But overall, just with the technical indicators here, we're seeing RSI declining to 46, so relatively low, oversold. But we're at a neutral stance at this point, just based on technicals. Even looking at the simple moving average as well as the exponential moving average, we're seeing a tilt downward, and simple moving average is below the actual current price. But just looking at the overall market trends, I think that one of the key things is we continue to see activity surging with a lot new investors as well as existing investors and financial institutions, buying up Bitcoin, even different crypto coins as well. But overall, the institutional interest remains strong with the creation of ETFs as well as SEC approving like 11 ETFs recently. I think this really tightens the stability and Bitcoin price overall. It can drop, but it won't drop to that level where it's going to be a worry. I think that we're just going to see this, 90, mid 90,000, and we're going to see that push back up from my perspective. But overall, I think, nothing has been officially confirmed, and these figures may be subject to change overall, according to this article. But the key takeaway is that with the escalating trade tensions, which are impacting not just crypto, but also the broader financial markets as well. Technical indicators, it informs us that we're seeing some volatility in the short term, but overall, the possibility of a US Bitcoin reserve remains a promising factor for Bitcoin's long-term prospects. Let's take a look at this Bitcoin rainbow chart here. Key takeaway is we haven't broken out yet. We're in this bull cycle. We do expect Bitcoin to top out with, it hitting the yellow, orange, potentially in the red zone. So we're still in that accumulation buy phase here. So I think with that recent halving in April 2024, we're still in this bull cycle for Bitcoin, especially with the current price at like, low 100,000s, we definitely can see a 1x in price of Bitcoin in the year 2025. Let's take a look at this visual here, state by state race for Bitcoin strategic reserve. So you see here, it's a race with all the states that we have listed here, over a dozen of states. You see Utah, you see Arizona leading the race, where now it's awaiting the House Senate approval before they can implement and adopt a strategic Bitcoin reserve. So these states are winning right now because it really comes down to the first states that really adopt Bitcoin. And eventually you're going to have another set of the remaining states tap into the race for Bitcoin, because if you don't, then that means your state is just going to lose with inflation always kicking in. So this is a big sentiment. This is showing that we're beginning to execute. SBR is becoming a fruition strategy and plan. And thanks to Donald Trump with this here, seeing, lightning speed, states take action with the strategic Bitcoin reserve. MicroStrategy, let's cover just the business model of MSTR. So how does this company work? So you can take the analogy of MSTR as like the black hole. So they're like the oil refinery sucking up like a vacuum all of the Bitcoin that they can buy just with the money that they can build, and converting that to wrap Bitcoin. You have different dividends. They just recently created a dividend ETF. They actually have convertible bonds. They have higher risk ETFs that you can invest in, as well as even MSTR stock. So this really helps investors who don't have that ability to buy direct Bitcoin. So this really caters towards global investors, and that's why MSTR is the kingpin titan of the crypto community. And just with MSTR having close to about 500,000 Bitcoins on their treasury, imagine what they're going to be announcing come next week, Wednesday, when earnings report kicks into play. We heard about Tesla having $600 million in profits just with 10,000 Bitcoins that they have on their balance sheet. Now, when you look at a bigger scale, MSTR, 47,000 times more Bitcoin than what Tesla has on their balance sheet. We're going to see some huge earnings per share that's going to be announced here. And most people are wondering, with unrealized gains, is that taxable? The answer is no. Unrealized gains, you don't pay tax until you sell, but MicroStrategy is just going to continue to hodl up Bitcoin, let that unrealized gains continue to grow as price of Bitcoin grows. Let's take a look at this visual here that I posted as well. So this is MicroStrategy's technical analysis here. So we're beginning to see a bullish flag pick up. Yes, we do see that high price of 550 back in November, but it's been in a healthy pullback here. People, of course, took profits, but I do think that we're going to see that V-shaped kick back in, especially with this technical indicators RSI relatively low. It's been pulling back for multiple weeks now. 2025, as we head into April, I do think that we're going to break through that $750 range. 2025, we could easily see, over the $1,000. I'm forecasting $1,200 for the price of MicroStrategy in the year 2025 as Bitcoin price goes beyond 150K, 200K this year. Let's take a look at this community post from Adam here. So, just overall updates with MSTR. I mean, their performance, they've done better than any stock in the S&P over the past 5 years, including Nvidia. I mean, MSTR, they hold close to about 500,000 Bitcoins, which is close to 2.2% of all Bitcoin that exists. There's no management fees like traditional ETFs, historically outperforms Bitcoin during bull runs, and often trades 2 to 3 times Bitcoin's price swings. So people who like more, swings with, appreciation in the price, they relatively invest into MSTR, for example. And during the 2021 bull run, Bitcoin gained 700%. MSTR shot up 1,200%. Last year, at one point, we saw MSTR run up to about 800%, ended the year by about 450%. MSTR, they're never going to sell their Bitcoin. They're just going to continue buying up Bitcoin. I mean, last week was the 12th consecutive week. It'll be interesting to see what they announce tomorrow. And Saylor, he borrows billions at zero interest to accumulate Bitcoin. So 0% interest on that in the long-term course that will kick in. But they're able to just borrow more money and just buy Bitcoin. So that's their business model. And most volatile stock in the market options to monetize your position via options trading are extremely profitable. So if you believe in Bitcoin, MSTR is the ultimate choice. There clearly is no second best. In the end, you will accumulate more Bitcoin by holding MSTR, and that's facts. Just with increase at ATM shares, one share will technically have more Bitcoin for every share that's owned. Let's take a look at here, just with the minor updates. So CleanSpark, this is the data that was announced for the last, couple of time points here, Q4 earnings for the first, second week of February, the last 4 years. So you have the data points here, but just key takeaway is with, CleanSpark soon to be announcing their earnings report. Last year, what happened with, the earnings report back in February to announce Q4, we saw the price shot up from like 10.50 to like close to $14. The last few data points for like Q3, Q2 earnings, I mean, miners have been just beat down significantly, but I think that because Q4 was a quarter where Bitcoin price ramped up, we're going to see some huge upside. Most of you are wondering, well, how does that factor in with the Bitcoin price dropping down? Well, couple that with production data that's going to be announced early, next week. Can it be tomorrow or will it be by, Wednesday? All of that's going to be driving catalyst from my perspective. Let's take a look at this posting here from Ernest here that CleanSpark just had their best mining day since the halving, close to 23.28 Bitcoins in a day. So huge sentiment. So if you average that out of like 30 days, not including 31 days, that's, less than 700 if you do the math there. But 23 Bitcoins in a day, that shows that eventually, their numbers, January is going to look very solid here. So huge milestone with CleanSpark here and with their big strategy to ramp up their hash rate and continue to improve their efficiency. I think that CleanSpark is going to do very well, especially with the stock price dropping by about 50% recently. Let's take a look at this posting here from Fibonacci Trading. So Mara is packing one of the stronger charts out here. So we've been seeing Mara get beat down here, and the key support is 1690 support level. And we saw that it did hold on to that support level. And according to this posting here, it's time for the bulls to shift gears and aim for a breakout above 2115. That would be a double win with a higher high and a break even above the volume shelf sitting at the level. So as we see higher, lower highs here, I think we're gonna, see that breakout here. I mean, it's just been beat down at that $30, going down 50%. Yes, huge volatility from near term, but I think good signs that we're seeing is lower highs here with that trend line here. So Mara, we're going to see some production numbers along with its earnings report later in February. Huge upside catalyst and Bitcoin price Q1 as it goes up. I think Mara is going to take advantage here. Let's also take a look at this posting for Coronet Trades here. Just was announced today in that Riot is gearing up for a huge move into demand, setting up right shoulder of inverse head and shoulders, looking for $16-20 to trade next, now $11 with contraction come expansion. So we've heard a lot about big time investors. We have Starboard. We had another big time investor buy up Riot last week, especially with the news about pivoting to HPC AI. We heard about Cypher getting a partnership with SoftBank. I mean, SoftBank is the financial investor for Stargate, $500 billion. Cypher got $50 million partnership with SoftBank. SoftBank, along with the Stargate project, they're looking for big time real estate with energy capacity. Riot Platforms is situated in the biggest state in the United States. They do have Corsicana, with the 600 megawatt capacity that hasn't been utilized yet. So big time real estate with energy capacity. And that's something that SoftBank is going to be very interested in. I do think that we could very well hear some news updates with Riot, along with their consistent Bitcoin mining production over 500 Bitcoins per month. So all of those funds, along with low cost to debt ratio, I think with their HODL of like close to 18,000 Bitcoins, they are a Bitcoin bank as well, similar to like Mara and CleanSpark. So very well, Riot Platforms. We could see, according to this drawing here, we can see that upside of $20 in the near term. But I do suspect, 3 to 5x potential with the current price that we see here. So there you have it. I hope that you found this video valuable. If you did, please make sure to hit the like, subscribe. I provided updates on Bitcoin price, MicroStrategy, and the big three miners, Mara, CleanSpark, and Riot. Please make sure to leave your comments and questions down below. Thanks, guys.